I'm sitting in a dimly lit hotel room, my hands shaking as I type this, trying to make sense of the nightmare I just lived through. My eyes are swollen from crying. My heart feels like it's been ripped out, and I'm questioning every choice I've ever made. I'm Mia, 29 years old, and I just walked out on my husband, Ethan, the man I thought I'd spend my life with. We've been married for 4 years, together for 6, and I'm still reeling from losing my second baby 3 weeks ago, a miscarriage at 16 weeks that left me hollow. The pain of losing my child was unbearable, but what Ethan did tonight, in front of his entire company, was a betrayal so cruel I don't know if I'll ever recover. I need to get this out. To process it, to figure out if I'm overreacting or if this is as horrific as it feels. This is going to be long, so bear with me, because I'm drowning in this, and I need someone, anyone, to understand. Ethan and I met at the advertising agency where we both worked. He was the golden boy of the creative department, all charm and confidence. The kind of guy who could sell ice to a penguin. I was in strategy, quieter, more behind the scenes, but his energy pulled me in like a magnet. He'd leave post-it notes with doodles on my desk, make me laugh during late-night campaign sessions, and when he asked me out, I felt like I'd won the lottery. We fell hard, got engaged within a year. Married 6 months later in a small ceremony where he cried during his vows. I thought I'd found my forever, but the cracks started showing 2 years ago, when I miscarried our first baby at 10 weeks. Ethan was distant, said things like, "You need to move on. Mia, don't let this define you." I chalked it up to him grieving differently, convinced myself he was just being practical, but it stung. And I buried that hurt deep. This second miscarriage hit me harder. I was 16 weeks along, far enough to have named her Lily, far enough to have bought a tiny pair of socks I still can't bear to look at. I went to the hospital alone. Ethan said he had a crucial client meeting, and when I came home, broken and bleeding, he barely looked up from his laptop, just muttered, "Maybe your body's not cut out for this, Mia." His words cut deeper than the physical pain, but I told myself he was stressed, that he didn't mean it, that he'd come around. I was wrong, so wrong, and tonight proved it in the most humiliating way possible. I've been on leave from work for 2 weeks, trying to heal. My body aches constantly, my hormones are a mess, and I cry at the smallest things, like seeing a stroller in the park. Ethan kept saying I was too mopey, that I needed to snap out of it. And yesterday, he announced he was planning something to lift my spirits. I thought maybe he'd cook dinner, take me for a quiet walk, anything to show he cared. Instead, tonight, as I stepped out of the shower, wrapped in a ratty robe with wet hair plastered to my face, I heard the doorbell ring, not once, but over and over, like someone was leaning on it. I shuffled to the door, confused, and when I opened it, my stomach dropped. There were over 20 people standing there, Ethan's coworkers, holding bottles of wine, bags of chips, grinning like they'd been invited to a frat party. I froze, my mouth dry, my robe barely covering me, and before I could process it, Ethan appeared behind me, slinging an arm around my shoulders. His voice booming, "Surprise, babe, I brought the whole crew to cheer you up." The crowd pushed past me, filling our tiny apartment, their laughter echoing off the walls, and I stood there, mortified. Our living room was a mess, dishes in the sink, my pregnancy books scattered on the couch, and I hadn't even brushed my hair. I whispered to Ethan, "What is this? I'm not ready for guests." But he just laughed, loud enough for everyone to hear. "Come on, Mia, stop being such a buzzkill. You've been moping for weeks." I tried to play along, forced a smile, scurried to the bedroom to throw on jeans and a hoodie, but my hands were trembling. I felt exposed, like I was on display in my own home. When I came back, the party was in full swing, music blaring, people spilling wine on our rug, and Ethan was holding court, charming as ever, passing out beers. I hovered in the kitchen, pretending to organize snacks, hoping no one would notice me. But then Ethan stood on a chair, clinking his glass for attention, and my heart sank. I knew that look in his eyes, the one he got when he wanted to be the star of the show. He started talking, his voice carrying over the crowd. "Thanks for coming, everyone. You all know me has been going through a rough patch, losing the baby and all, but I figured a party would remind her life goes on." People nodded, some looked uncomfortable, but then he kept going, his tone shifting. "I mean, she can't even keep a baby, right? But at least she's still a killer cook. So let's get her to whip up something, yeah?" The room went silent for a split second, Then a few people laughed, nervous. Others looked away, and I felt my face burn, my knees buckle. I wanted to disappear, to scream, but I couldn't move. He wasn't done. He pointed at me, grinning. Come on, Mia, don't just stand there. Make yourself useful. Show them you're not just a sad sack. The laughter grew louder. Some of his buddies clapped, and I saw Sarah from HR avert her eyes, her face pale. I forced myself to smile, mumbled something about checking the fridge, and stumbled to the kitchen, my vision blurring with tears. Behind me, I heard Ethan's voice. See, told you she's fine, just needs to get over herself. I leaned against the counter, gripping the edge, and in that moment, something snapped, not just pain, but clarity. This wasn't a one-off. This was who he was, a man who'd humiliate his grieving wife for laughs. I slipped into the bathroom, locked the door, and let myself cry, silent, angry tears. I saw every red flag I'd ignored, the dismissals, the coldness, the way he'd turned my pain into his punchline. I couldn't bring a child into this, couldn't stay with someone who'd weaponized my loss. I splashed water on my face, took a deep breath, and made a decision. I wasn't staying here tonight. Maybe not ever. I grabbed my purse, slipped on sneakers, and bolted out the back door of our apartment, the thumping music and drunken laughter fading as I stumbled down the fire escape. My chest heaved, my pulse raced, and I didn't stop until I reached the corner store 2 blocks away, its fluorescent lights buzzing like my thoughts. I ducked inside, pretending to browse the candy aisle, but really, I needed to breathe, to think, to figure out how my life had unraveled in a single night. Ethan's words echoed in my head. She can't even keep a baby, and the crowd's laughter stabbed me over and over. But something else gnawed at me, a memory from weeks ago, something I'd dismissed as grief-fueled paranoia. I pulled out my phone, hands trembling, and opened the company Slack channel. Ethan always bragged about being the office rock star, but I'd heard whispers, rumors he'd been spreading about me. I scrolled through archived messages, my stomach twisting as I found a thread from last month. Ethan had posted in a private group chat with his work buddies. Mia's been a mess since the miscarriage. Keeps crying. It's like living with a ghost. Maybe she's not cut out for this mom thing. The replies were brutal. One guy wrote, "Dude, you're a saint for staying." Another added, "Get her to therapy or get out." I felt sick. My grief, my loss, had been turned into office gossip, and Ethan was the ringleader, painting me as unhinged to justify his cruelty. I kept digging. Found an email he'd forwarded to his best friend at work, a screenshot of my medical records from the hospital, with a note, "See, told you she's dramatic. Doc says she's fine physically." My vision blurred. He'd accessed my private health information, shared it, mocked it, and I hadn't suspected a thing. I leaned against the store shelf, a pack of Skittles falling to the floor. And the cashier shot me a look, but I didn't care. I was piecing together a betrayal far deeper than tonight's humiliation. My phone buzzed, a text from Sarah, the HR rep who'd looked horrified at the party. "Mia, are you okay? I'm so sorry. I didn't know he'd do that." I typed back, my fingers fumbling. "Did you know he's been talking about me at work?" Her reply came fast. "Yes, he's been saying awful things. I tried to shut it down, but he's got everyone wrapped around his finger. Meet me. I need to tell you more." I hesitated. My trust in anyone tied to Ethan was shattered, but Sarah's pale face at the party flashed in my mind. She'd been the only one who seemed human. We met at a 24-hour diner across town. The kind with sticky tables and waitresses who don't ask questions. Sarah slid into the booth, her eyes darting nervously, and before I could speak, she blurted, "Mia, Ethan's been lying about you for months. He told the team you're mentally unstable, that the miscarriages were your fault. He even said you're faking your grief to trap him." I gripped my coffee mug, the heat burning my palms. "Why didn't you tell me? Sarah, you're HR. You're supposed to protect people." She flinched. "I know. I failed you, but he's got dirt on half the office, including me." I was scared, but tonight was too much. I can't stay silent anymore. She slid her phone across the table, showed me a recording she'd secretly taken at a team happy hour last week. Ethan's voice was unmistakable. "Mia's dragging me down, always crying about the baby. I'm thinking of moving out, maybe hooking up with someone who's actually fun." The group laughed. Someone cheered, and I felt my heart crack open, not just from the betrayal, but from the realization that he'd been planning to leave me, to discard me like I was nothing. all while I mourned our child. I looked at Sarah, my voice low. What else? Tell me everything. She swallowed hard. He's been cozying up to Lauren, the new creative intern. They've been sneaking off together. He brags about it. Says she's low maintenance compared to you. The name hit me like a punch. Lauren, the perky 23-year-old who'd been at the party. Giggling at Ethan's side, I thought she was just starstruck by him, but now it made sense. The lingering touches, the shared glances. I wanted to scream. To storm back to the apartment and confront him, but I knew that's what he'd expect. He'd twist it, make me the hysterical wife he'd painted me as. Instead, I thanked Sarah, paid for my coffee, and walked out into the cold night, my mind racing with a plan. I wasn't going back to that apartment, not tonight, maybe not ever, but I needed proof. Something to expose Ethan for the monster he was. I called my sister, Ava, who lived an hour away, her voice groggy but sharp when she heard my tone. Mia, what's wrong? Where are you? I told her everything, the party, the Slack messages, the recording, Lauren, and she didn't hesitate. Get to a hotel. I'm coming tomorrow. We're getting you out. He's done controlling you. I checked into a budget hotel, the kind with thin walls and questionable stains, but it felt safer than home. I lay on the stiff bed, staring at the ceiling, and for the first time in weeks, I didn't cry. I was angry, not just at Ethan, but at myself for ignoring the signs, for believing his charm was love. I opened my laptop, started downloading every incriminating message, email, and file I could access from our shared accounts. My fingers flew, fueled by rage. I wasn't just leaving him. I was going to make sure he faced consequences, for me, for Lily, for every tear he'd caused. My phone lit up, a call from Ethan. I let it go to voicemail. His message was slurred. Mia, where the hell are you? Party's over. You're being dramatic. Come home. I deleted it, muted his number, and whispered to myself, never again. Ethan, never again. I felt Lily's absence, her tiny socks still in my purse, and I promised her, wherever she was, that I'd fight, that I'd be the mother she deserved, even if it meant doing it alone. My phone buzzed violently on the hotel nightstand, jolting me awake, the screen flashing an unknown number. But I knew it was Ethan. He'd found a way past my block. His voicemail hissed through the speaker before I could stop it. Mia, you think you can just vanish. I know where you are. Get home now, or you'll regret it. My heart slammed against my ribs. His voice wasn't just angry, it was menacing, a tone I'd never heard, and for a moment, I froze. Picturing him storming through the hotel lobby, his charm replaced by something darker. I deleted the message, my hands shaking, but his threat lit a fire in me. I wasn't just running anymore. I was done being his victim, done letting him control the narrative. I opened my laptop, the screen glowing with the files I'd downloaded last night. Ethan's Slack messages, his emails, the screenshot of my medical records he'd shared. But I needed more, something undeniable to bury him. I logged into his personal email, using a password he'd carelessly left in our shared cloud. And my breath caught. There was a folder labeled Lauren, dozens of messages, photos, hotel receipts, proof he'd been cheating for months, not just flirting, but planning a future with her. One email read, once Mia's out of the picture, we can start fresh, babe. My stomach churned. He wasn't just betraying me. He was plotting to erase me, to make me the villain in his twisted story. I forwarded everything to my email, my fingers moving faster than my thoughts. But then a new email popped up, sent to Ethan from his boss, Karen, marked urgent. Ethan, we need to discuss the complaint filed against you today. Meet me at 9 a.m. This is serious. My pulse quickened. Someone had reported him, maybe Sarah. Maybe someone else who'd seen his cruelty at the party. But it meant the walls were closing in, and I had to act fast before he spun this to his advantage. I called Ava, my sister, who was already on her way, her voice sharp through the car speaker. Mia, I'm 20 minutes out. What's happening? You sound panicked. I told her about Ethan's threat, the affair, the complaint. And she didn't hesitate. We're going to that apartment, getting your stuff, and you're done with him. I'll handle Ethan if he shows up. We met at a gas station near my building. Ava's SUV idling as she hugged me fiercely, her eyes scanning the street like a hawk. She handed me a coffee and a plan. We go in, grab your essentials, documents, clothes. Anything you can't replace, and we're out in 30 minutes. I nodded, adrenaline surging, but as we climbed the stairs to my apartment, my phone pinged, a text from an unknown number. "You're making a mistake, Mia. You'll lose everything." My blood ran cold. It wasn't Ethan's usual number, but it was his style, cryptic, controlling, and I realized he might be closer than I thought. Maybe watching, maybe waiting. The apartment door creaked open, the air thick with the stale smell of last night's party. Beer cans littered the floor, pizza boxes stacked on the counter. And my pregnancy books were shoved under the couch like trash. Ava moved like a soldier, tossing my clothes into a duffel bag, while I grabbed my passport, birth certificate, and the tiny socks I'd bought for Lily, my hands trembling as I stuffed them into my purse. We were halfway through when the doorbell rang. Sharp and insistent, Ava froze, her eyes meeting mine. "Don't answer it, keep packing." But the ringing turned to pounding, Ethan's voice booming through the door. "Mia, I know you're in there. Open the damn door. We need to talk." My knees buckled. But Ava grabbed my arm, her voice low. "He's not getting in. Keep moving. I've got this." She marched to the door, cracked it open with the chain still on, and I heard her snap, "Ethan, leave now, or I'm calling the cops. Mia's done with you." His voice rose. "This is my house, Ava. You can't keep me out. Mia's lost it. She needs help." The lie was so smooth, so practiced. I almost believed it myself, but Ava didn't flinch. "You're the one who needs help. Back off, or I'll make sure everyone knows what you did." The pounding stopped. His footsteps retreated. But I knew this wasn't over. You'd never let go that easily. We finished packing, my life reduced to 2 bags and a box. But as we loaded the car, I spotted Ethan's car parked across the street. His silhouette inside, watching us. My heart raced. Ava noticed too, her jaw tight. "He's trying to scare you. Mia, don't let him win. We're leaving, and he's not following." She floored the gas. The apartment fading in the rear view, but my phone buzzed again. Another unknown number, a photo this time. Me in the gas station from earlier, taken from a distance, with a message, "I see you, Mia. You can't hide." I gasped, showing Ava, her face hardening. "He's unhinged. We're going to my place, and we're getting a lawyer now." I nodded, clutching Lily's socks, my fear morphing into resolve. Ethan thought he could intimidate me, break me, but he'd underestimated me. I wasn't just leaving, I was going to expose him, his lies, his affair, his cruelty. And I'd make sure he lost everything he valued, his job, his reputation, his control. I opened my laptop in the passenger seat, started drafting an email to Karen, Ethan's boss, attaching every piece of evidence, the Slack messages, the medical record leak, the affair. My fingers flew, each word a step toward freedom. As Ava's car sped toward safety, I whispered to Lily's memory, "I'm fighting for us, baby. He won't win." The road stretched ahead, dark and uncertain, but for the first time, I felt a spark of power. Ethan had crossed a line. But so had I, and there was no going back. I slammed my laptop shut, my fingers stinging from typing. The email to Ethan's boss, Karen, was sent, every damning piece of evidence attached. His Slack messages, the leaked medical records, the affair with Lauren, all laid bare. Ava glanced over from the driver's seat, her eyes fierce. "You did it, Mia. He's done." But before I could respond, my phone lit up, a call from Sarah, her voice frantic when I answered. "Mia, Ethan's at the office. He's losing it, screaming about you. Karen's meeting with him now. You need to get here, show them who he really is." My stomach lurched. The idea of facing him terrified me, but the thought of him spinning lies, painting me as the villain, ignited something primal. I wasn't hiding anymore. This ended today. Ava didn't hesitate. She veered the SUV toward the agency's downtown office. "You're not going alone. I'm with you. Let's bury him." The 15-minute drive felt like seconds, my mind racing, rehearsing what I'd say, how I'd stand tall while Ethan crumbled. We pulled into the parking lot, the glass building looming. And I spotted Ethan's car, parked crooked, like he'd stormed in without a plan. Ava grabbed my hand. "You're stronger than him, Mia. Show them," and I nodded, clutching Lily's tiny socks in my pocket. My anchor, my reason to fight. We burst through the office doors, the receptionist's eyes widening. But I didn't stop. I heard Ethan's voice echoing from the conference room. "Mia's unstable. She's making this up. I'm the victim here." My blood boiled. I shoved the door open, the room falling silent. Ethan stood at the head of the table, red-faced. Karen and two senior execs staring at him. Lauren in the corner, her face pale. Ethan's eyes locked on mine, shock morphing into rage. What the hell are you doing here? Mia, go home. You're embarrassing yourself. I stepped forward, my voice steady. No. Ethan, you're the embarrassment. You mocked my miscarriage, shared my medical records, cheated with her. I pointed at Lauren, who flinched. And now you're lying to save yourself. Karen raised a hand. Mia, we got your email. These are serious allegations. Can you back them up? I pulled out my phone, opened the folder of evidence, and slid it across the table. It's all here. His messages, emails, proof he shared my private health information, receipts from his affair. He's been slandering me for months. Ethan lunged for the phone, but Ava stepped in, her voice icy. Touch it, and I'll call the police. You're done intimidating her. The exec scrolled through the files, their faces hardening, Karen's jaw tight as she read Ethan's email to Lauren. Mia's out of the picture soon. Babe. Ethan stammered. This is fake. She's manipulating you. She's jealous, unhinged. But his voice cracked, and I saw Lauren slip toward the door, her eyes avoiding mine. I turned to her, my voice sharp. Lauren, tell them. Tell them how long you've been sleeping with my husband, how he bragged about leaving me. She froze, tears welling, then whispered, it started 3 months ago. He said you were divorcing. I didn't know about the miscarriage. The room gasped. Ethan's face crumpled. You little, but Karen cut him off. Enough. Ethan, sit down now. I kept going, my voice rising. He invited your entire team to our home last night, mocked me for losing our baby, said I couldn't keep a child, laughed while I stood there, grieving. You all saw it. Some of you laughed too. I locked eyes with a coworker who'd chuckled, his face now ashen. I lost my daughter, Lily, and he turned my pain into a punchline. He's not a leader, he's a coward. Silence swallowed the room. Ethan sank into a chair, his hand shaking, no charm left, just a man exposed. Karen stood, her voice cold. Ethan, you're suspended pending investigation. Mia, we'll need to speak with you further. But this evidence is compelling. We take this seriously. Ethan exploded. You can't do this. I built this team. Mia's lying. She's nothing without me. Ava stepped forward. She's everything without you, and you're about to learn that. I felt a surge of strength. I wasn't just confronting him. I was reclaiming my life, my dignity, my truth. As security escorted Ethan out, he turned to me, his voice low. This isn't over. Mia, you'll pay for this. I met his gaze, unflinching. Try me. Ethan, I'm not afraid anymore. He was led away, his shouts fading down the hall, and I exhaled, my legs trembling. Ava's arm around me. You were incredible. Mia, he's finished. Karen approached, her tone softer. Mia, I'm sorry we didn't act sooner. We'll make this right. Take the day. We'll talk tomorrow. I nodded, too drained to speak. But inside, I felt a shift. I'd faced him, exposed him, and won this battle. We left the office, the parking lot buzzing with whispers, coworkers staring, some ashamed, others stunned. Ava drove us to her house, my bag still in the back, and I checked my phone. A flood of messages, Sarah thanking me for speaking up, a coworker apologizing for laughing, another offering to testify if needed. I muted the notifications, my mind spinning. Ethan's threat lingered. You'll pay. And I knew he wouldn't go quietly. He'd fight dirty, maybe spread more lies, maybe worse. I clutched Lily's socks, whispering, I did this for you, baby. I'm not stopping. At Ava's, I opened my laptop, started searching for a lawyer, someone who could protect me. In this marriage, ensure Ethan faced consequences beyond his job. My hand steadied. My resolve hardened. I wasn't just surviving. I was fighting for Lily, for the woman I'd forgotten I could be. Ethan thought he'd broken me, but he'd only woken me up. And I was ready for whatever came next. I hung a photo on my new apartment's bare wall, a snapshot of me smiling at a park, Lily's tiny socks tucked in my pocket. My eyes bright with a strength I'd rediscovered. The act felt sacred, a vow to myself, to Lily, that Ethan's cruelty wouldn't define us. I was free, not just from him, but from the shame he tried to chain me with. Ava's text buzzed my phone. Proud of you. Sis, dinner tonight? My treat? And I grinned, typing back, only if I bake dessert. The divorce had finalized days ago. Ethan's career in ruins, his lies exposed, but the victory wasn't just his downfall, it was my rebirth. Rachel, my lawyer, called, her voice steady. Mia. The agency settled a hefty sum for their negligence. Ethan's facing a harassment lawsuit. He's done. I exhaled, the money a lifeline. But the real win was Ethan's silence. His online rants had stopped. His friends had turned. Coworkers who'd laughed at his party now sent apologies. Some offered work. I accepted a freelance gig. My terms, my rules. My confidence growing with every project. I wasn't the unstable wife Ethan had painted. I was capable, resilient, whole. At Ava's dinner, Sarah joined us, her eyes soft. Mia. I'm sorry I didn't speak up sooner. You're incredible. I hugged her. You spoke when it mattered. That's enough. We laughed, shared stories. The warmth of their support healing wounds Ethan's betrayal had carved. Later, I started therapy, a group for women like me. Their voices echoed my pain, betrayal, grief, but also my hope. One said, "You're not broken, Mia. You're unbreakable." And I cried, not for loss, but for the woman I'd become. Ethan tried one last move, an email. Mia, I'm sorry, I've changed. Let me make this right. I deleted it. No reply. His words hollow, manipulative, a final gasp of control I'd never give him. Rachel filed a no-contact order, his shadow fading. Rumors said he'd left town, his charm useless. His life a wreck. I didn't care. My focus was forward, my apartment a sanctuary, my work a passion, my heart open to joy. I baked cookies one night, the kitchen warm, Lily's socks on the counter. And I whispered, we did it, baby, we're okay. My phone pinged, Ava's photo of us laughing, captioned, my hero. I smiled, licking dough off my fingers, the taste sweet, like freedom. Ethan thought he'd destroy me, but he'd forged a warrior, and this life, this peace, was mine, forever.